What's going on, you guys? Yeah, you see the title. Yeah, we all saw what we saw last night. Jaron Boots Ennis struggled with Karen Kukachan. Yeah, I said that he struggled with Kukachan. And the reason why I'm so critical, the reason why I'm so harsh is because we grade Boots Ennis for months and for years. We would grade him strictly off the eye test alone. And then he goes up in there with a guy we never heard of. And he goes to a decision for the first time in his professional career. Hit that like button for your boy. Give me the HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. But Jaron Boots Ennis, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed by his performance last night. He was in there with a guy that he was supposed to beat in 3 rounds. And going into the fight, right, it was a lot of talk. He was very confident, and of course, rightfully so. Jaron Boots Ennis was on cloud 9 going into this fight with Kukachan. I never watched Fight on the Dude. None of that stuff, right? He lets his dad and his brothers do that. But I let this be a lesson to these fighters, man. You might want to watch some tape on these guys just so you can see what type of fighter he is and what he does in the ring. Because it seemed like Jaron Boots Ennis was trying to figure this guy out on the fly, and he just simply really couldn't do it. He couldn't get the job done. He couldn't stop his David Averizian. See, Terrence Crawford, he stops Kukachan's. They say Crawford don't fight nobody, but he'll stop a Kukachan. One thing I noticed about Boots right away, though, is that he don't change up the speed of his punches. Maybe that's something that you develop over time, right, as you get better as a fighter over the years. That's an elite skill, right? We see Terrence Bud Crawford use it quite a bit, right? He did in the Averizian fight, switch up the speed of his punches on the fly. He can go from real slow to fast in an instant. Jaron Boots Ennis, everything is fast and hard. And a guy with a good IQ, good defense, defensive-minded fighter will get a good gauge on your speed and kind of figure you out from there on out. But Jaron Boots Ennis didn't switch up the speed of none of his punches. Everything was fast and hard. He looked like a big version of Teofimo Lopez that could switch stances, right? He's real flashy. Yeah, it's Jaron Boots Ennis just flash. Because that's what it looked like to me. Now, the commentary, if you was listening to the commentary, and I do tend to listen to the commentary, and they could sway what you're really seeing. What I seen, right, because I could take away what these guys are saying because I knew it was bullshit. I know what my eyes was showing me. Jaron Boots Ennis was supposed to stop this guy. This guy wasn't supposed to be even surviving. He wasn't supposed to be doing anything he was doing in that fight, but guess what? He was doing it. And the commentary will make you believe that he was on survival mode. The commentary will make you believe that Jaron Boots Ennis was doing this, doing that, and the third. Nah. Nope. He struggled with this guy. Couldn't hurt this guy, right? The guy was landing shots on him, making him miss, making him look really, really bad. Jaron Boots Ennis was spinning in circles. How many times? 3 or 4 times he spun in circles. His ring IQ was on display tonight. And prior to this fight, right, when we try to match him up with the Errol Spences and the Terrence Crawfords of the world, I'm not quite sure it matches up yet. I'm not quite sure he's ready for those guys just yet. He's definitely not ready for Terrence Bud Crawford. Definitely not ready for Terrence Bud Crawford. And if he can't hurt Errol Spence may just run him right out the ring. He showed a lot of holes in this game against a guy that he was supposed to beat. A guy that really couldn't punch. Imagine if he was in there with a guy that could punch. A guy that's going to get his respect. A guy that he's not going to simply just walk down like he did Karen Kukachan. Kukachan put up a hell of a performance. He wasn't supposed to survive. He was supposed to make it to 9. He made it past 5. Jaron Boots Ennis showed a sense of urgency after the 6th round, and he really turned it up in the 6th round, but Karen Kukachan made a really good count of himself, rolling with a lot of punches, using his feet as defense, and made Jaron Boots Ennis look really, really ordinary. He didn't look as spectacular as he did previously. And this is against a guy that nobody never seen before. Never seen or heard of before, ever. And after the fight, his voice was real shaky. It wasn't as confident as it was going into the fight or prior to the fight. Really, really shaky in his voice. Yeah. Because reality kicked in. Jaron Boots Ennis got a lot of work to do. A lot of flash is what I saw. A lot of flash. And if things ain't going his way, then what you going to do? Right? Then what you going to do if things ain't going your way? You got to display that ring IQ. I wasn't thoroughly impressed with Boots Ennis. I wasn't at all. One thing I noticed that was really, really a big flaw for him that would really hinder him in a fight with a guy with a high IQ like a guy like Crawford, maybe even a Thurman, is the fact that he just doesn't change up the speed of his punches. Maybe even a guy like Spence can capitalize on that. And stylistically, Spence is a better matchup for Boots than a guy like Crawford or even Thurman. Jaron Boots Ennis didn't have the foot speed that I thought he would have. You know, he didn't cut him off as much as I would think he would cut him off. Honestly, I didn't even expect Karan Kukucan to be as mobile as he was. But he was very mobile. He had very good footwork and good ring generalship. Very good ring generalship from Karan Kukucan. And Boots Ennis was just walking him down, plodding forward, trying to try different things. It worked in spots, but it wasn't Jaron Boots Ennis' best performance by a long shot. It wasn't. So I think we can kind of kill the noise that he'll beat the likes of Spence Jr. This stuff is yet to be seen. We've seen what happened to Rashidi, right? And guys knock Crawford from fighting these guys, right? These tough guys that you never heard of, right? We seen a tough guy last night in Karan Kukucan that nobody never heard of. And look what happened. Jaron Boots Ennis struggled with this guy. Crawford doesn't struggle with these guys that you never heard of. He stops these guys. The Mean Machines. The Avarizines. He stopped these guys. And it's not like Jaron Boots Ennis lost the fight, right? But it's almost like he lost. Because the expectations was so high for Jaron Boots Ennis. And of course, he was super confident going in. You saw the look on his face. You saw the swagger that he had. He felt that he was untouchable. But then after the fight, you could hear it in his voice that he knows he got a lot of work to do. And there's going to be guys like me calling it how they see it, say he can't beat guys like Terrence Crawford right now. And I've been saying he can't beat Crawford. Spence, that's up in the air. But as of right now, I don't even know if he can beat Spence. If he can't hurt Spence, Spence is going to run you right out of there. I've seen a lot of flash from Jaron Boots Ennis with very little substance. A lot of flash in there against Karan Kukucan. And Karan Kukucan made him look really ordinary. Made him miss a lot, made him miss big, made him miss wide. Jaron Boots Ennis spun around. He's looking like a black Teofimo Lopez. He looked really, really good. Superb Roy Jones-esque prior to running to Karan Kukucan. So imagine how he'll look against a Terrence Bud Crawford. A fighter with a high IQ, with a hell of a killer instinct. A master level boxer. All Terrence Crawford shots ain't coming at 100 miles per hour with full speed, full power. Nah, he's coming with some slow stuff that lull you into his game, and then wham, stopping you in a variety of different ways. Spence Jr., if you're not able to deal with what he's bringing, he's going to run you right out of the ring. Boots Ennis can barely hurt Karan Kukucan. He couldn't even hurt Kukucan. Was it a bad night for Boots? Nah, I'm not going to give him that. Because this is supposed to be a showcase night. He was supposed to steal the show from Tank Davis. Nah, you didn't steal the show tonight, Boots. You didn't steal the show last night, Boots. You didn't steal the show that night, Boots. Spence probably watching like, oh, man. Terrence Crawford probably watching like, oh, man. I see a lot of holes in this dude game. A lot of holes in this game that a guy like Crawford definitely would exploit. A guy like Spence could possibly exploit. Going into the fight, Boots Ennis did a lot of talking. So I expected him to do some walking. And he was walking all right, trying to walk Karan Kukucan down. But Kukucan was styling and profiling, swaying and laying, moving left, moving right. And the commentators tried to make it look like he was trying to make it a boring fight. But I was very impressed with Karen Kukuchyan because he forced Boots Ennis to show us some dimensions of his game. He forced Boots Ennis to show us what he's really made of as far as a guy that's not going to be there for him to hit. Boots Ennis necessarily didn't pass the test with flying colors. The commentators may have helped if you're not sure what you're looking at. Maybe my expectations was just so high going in. And rightfully so. Boots Ennis passes the eye test with all colors, checking all the boxes. But we'll put in there with a guy with a chin, with some good defense and some good feet. He looked at basic. Looked like a black Teofimo Lopez. Made Boots Ennis miss pretty wide at times. We don't see Boots Ennis miss too wide like that. He made Boots Ennis miss. Imagine Boots Ennis was in there with a guy like Crawford, who would make him pay. Styles make fights, of course. But we would imagine a style like Drum Boots Ennis would be able to handle whatever a Karen Kukuchyan brought. And while he have got the victory, I'm not satisfied. And I can't confidently say that he'll go up in there and beat a Terrence Crawford, like some others may have said, or Errol Spence, like some others may have said. I can't even confidently say that. Yeah, he's been pressing those guys for the fight, but could he win those fights is yet to be seen based off what we just seen. Because I'm not quite sure if Karen Kukuchyan would have made it a full 12 rounds against Terrence Bud Crawford. Actually, I highly doubt it. Would he have made it a 12 rounds against Errol Spence? Quite possibly because, Errol Spence stylistically, But then again, Errol Spence probably would have hurt Karen Kukuchyan when he hit him. Slowed him down. A little bit more methodical and consistent in his approach than Jaron Boots Ennis, who was trying to try a variety of different things, but it just seemed like he couldn't figure out one specific thing and stick with it and make it work. Karen Kukuchyan gave him a lot of different looks, a lot of different angles, and he had Boots Ennis looking ordinary, looking like a flashy fighter, and that's it. Yeah, you can look flashy, you can look pretty all you want to. Oh my God, and it looks great. But when you in there with somebody that's not gonna sit still, when you in there with somebody that could take your best shot, when you in there with a fighter that may be smarter than you, what you go do? Yeah, we saw that last night. I think Jaron Boots Ennis got a lot of work to do. He got a lot of work to do. This is why they hopped out of the WBO. This is why they not forcing a fight with Terrence Crawford. It'll be over with. It'll be over with. There's a lot of things that he don't do. There's a lot of things that he do that I don't think some other fighters will fall for. Changing up the speed of his punches is one thing. The velocity is always one speed. Always one speed. Always one, everything's fast and hard. Very, very interesting performance from Jaron Boots Ennis. I expect him to get better from here on out. You can hear it in his voice that it wasn't the type of performance or the victory that he was looking for, right? We expect him to keep his KO streak going. We expect him to stop this guy, but this is boxing. You never know what happens. It was supposed to be a showcase night for everybody on the card. The only person that showed up and showed out was Gervonta Tank Davis in typical Tank Davis fashion. Jaron Boots Ennis was supposed to steal the show, but he just simply didn't do it. And now, moving forward, going into 2023, this is the first big card of the year. How does Jaron Boots Ennis stack up against Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. now? Tell me what you guys think. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.